See here, the deglutition process what we have is basically this is the sagittal section of head and neck. So in the sagittal section of head and neck, you are finding from the nose as we go behind, that is nasopharynx. From the oral cavity as we go behind, this is oropharynx. From the larynx as we see behind, this is laryngopharynx. Okay, that means this whole area is pharynx, three different parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. Okay, so deglutition is a mechanism of swallowing up the food from the oral cavity. It has to move into the esophagus. So we have some series of mechanisms taking place, which is working in such a perfect way that food bolus is not allowed to enter into nasopharynx. Food bolus is not allowed to enter into larynx and trachea. Food bolus is uh, adjusted in such a way like it is allowed to move only into the esophagus. Okay, so how is that? Now, first step is the preparatory stage. Preparatory stage is the stage when the food bolus is inside the oral cavity. We are finding the soft palate is coming down and it is almost going up to the lower part of the oropharynx. Okay, this is thorough mastication mechanism. Now, when we are second is the oral stage. In this oral stage, what you will see, the food bolus is slowly slipping from the oropharynx. Now it has to go into the laryngopharynx. The laryngopharynx here, it has two passages. Okay, it can either go into the larynx or it can go into the esophagus. So that means series of steps should occur in such a way. Now this is the epiglottis. It is labeled here epiglottis, and this is the this tube is trachea. Okay, so the epiglottis is falling backwards and it is closing the laryngeal inlet. Because the laryngeal inlet is closed now, the food bolus is allowed to pass backwards towards the esophagus. Once the food bolus is moving towards the esophagus, we know this sphincter is upper esophageal sphincter. The upper esophageal sphincter will relax and will allow the food bolus to enter into the esophageal movement. Once the food bolus is successfully entering into the esophageal phagus downwards, the upper esophageal sphincter will close tightly so that the food bolus is not again regurgitated backwards. Okay, that is the esophageal stage. Okay, so in the pharyngeal stage, what we are seeing, the epiglottis is falling backwards and closing the laryngeal inlet and allowing the food bolus to enter only into the esophagus. And in the pharyngeal stage, we are also finding the relaxing of the upper esophageal sphincter. Okay, esophageal stage, you will see bolus is moving downwards towards the cavity. That means the food bolus is now ready to move towards the stomach. So upper esophageal sphincter closes. So this is the mechanism of deglutition. Okay, the same thing, whatever has been discussed in the form of diagram is given in the form of explanation. You can just go through once. Okay, better. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have ventilation perfusion ratio. Some very small answers, but uh, nobody has. Emma, do you have the same edition what I have? Okay, fine. Let me check it. Ventilation perfusion ratio. From respiratory. Meanwhile, you just check the other answers and read for yourself. If I ask, you should be able to give me the list of anticoagulants or something like that. Yeah, 702 page. Yes, better. So, So ventilation perfusion ratio, you can look at the screen now. It is nothing but the ratio of alveolar ventilation and the amount of blood that
And what's the
perfuse.
page number?
Page number for maybe your book, my book are different, beta 702. So anyhow, I have shared the soft copy.
Okay, ma'am.
702 page. See
Okay.
here, ventilation perfusion means what? The ratio of alveolar ventilation and amount of blood that perfuse the alveoli. That means how much amount of oxygen is moving from the alveoli to the capillary. That is nothing but ventilation perfusion ratio. Okay, it is expressed as VA by Q. VA is alveolar ventilation and Q is the blood flow. Okay, so normal value is 0.84 and you can remember this formula alveolar ventilation by pulmonary blood flow. You can substitute these values 500 minus 150 ml into 12 per minute. That is the alveolar ventilation, tidal volume minus dead space into respiratory rate. Finally, if you calculate in this way, you will get this normal ventilation perfusion ratio, which is 0.84. So why should we know this? It signifies gaseous exchange. That means how much amount of oxygen is being transferred from the alveoli to the capillaries successfully. That we will come to know with the help of ventilation perfusion ratio. Okay. So that is all about ventilation. You can also write ventilation without perfusion is dead space. Perfusion without ventilation is shortcut, shunt. Okay. And then what is the next question we have written? Cardiac index. Here also there is one formula written. Cardiac index.
I think cardiac output divided by body surface area.
In that page better. Meanwhile, I will go with the other answer. So that
My
you can.
addition is different for some reason.
No problem. Anyhow, it's a formula only, no? And that's why I was asking. Okay, I will open it. Cardiac index. It's only a two-line answer. There will be a formula and value for that. Meanwhile, you please open the other answer, beta. Imad, Ritika, one answer each. I am checking cardiac index. You open in your books, no problem.
Okay.
Hema, you open anticoagulants, beta. The remaining two, Ritika, what are you going to open? I'll tell you. Tubular maxima of glucose, Imad, urea clearance, Ritika. Same chapter, renal. Anticoagulants, Hema. And I am doing
Which one should I do, ma'am?
Tubular maxima for glucose,
Maximum
you check
for
beta.
glucose.
You check.
Okay.
Urea clearance, Ritika, you check. Anticoagulants, Hema, you check. I am checking cardiac index. Please put cardiac. Cardiac index 573 in the book. Just look at the screen now, beta. For cardiac index, see, cardiac index is minute volume expressed in relation to square meter of body surface area, or you have this definition. Better you choose this one, but it's easy. Defined as amount of blood pumped out per ventricle per minute per square meter of body surface area. Each ventricle, how much amount of blood it is pumping per minute per square meter of body surface area. Okay. Normal value how much? 2.8 plus or minus 0.3 liters per square meter of body surface area. Enough better this is. Okay. That is cardiac index. After knowing cardiac index, what is tubular? Did you open Himad? Tubular maximum for glucose?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please read the, see, I will tell you the concept of that answer. Tubular maximum of the glucose means,
I think it is that it's showing here that renal threshold for glucose, the concentration above which the substrate does not appear in urine.
yes. What is the value
It
given
is
there?
around it is around 160, 190, 200 or something milligram per minute.
Okay, that is tubular maximum. Okay, that means beyond that threshold, if the glucose will appear in the urine. Okay, that is the meaning. That means
Yes,
if it
ma'am.
is above that level, then only you will see glucose in the urine. Otherwise, glucose is not the normal ingredient of urine. Okay, normal composition of the urine. Okay, what is your question? Clearance
It is
test, no
showing
better?
180 milligram per deciliter.
Okay, nice, very good. Urea clearance, what is the
Urea
formula?
clearance test is
C is
we
equal to
already
U into V
discussed,
by
I
P.
think.
We have discussed.
UV,
C is
UV by P.
UV by P.
Mhm.
Okay, yes, better. Anticoagulants, Hema? Okay. Can you name Imad, Ritika? Very easy only, no? But heparin is natural anticoagulant. Then we have
Heparin,
EDTA, sodium citrate.
Antihistamine, sodium
Anti,
citrate.
but antihistamine is not there. No, no, better. You are confused for something else. Okay.
Okay.
Anticoagulants, should I open the list? Heparin,
Ma'am, just once
ADT.
if you show.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
open.
Page number, better, Ritika?
Ma'am, my book is different one.
Okay. Mm, here. Blood clotting chapter is there, no? In that you will have blood coagulation. Mm, no, 129 page. Yes, you can see here the list. Anticoagulants are basically natural anticoagulant is heparin. So this, see here, you have the list here, heparin. It's a natural anticoagulant which will not allow the blood to clot inside the blood vessels. Okay. Apart from that, you have this list in coumarin derivatives. So under this coumarin
Yes, ma'am.
derivatives, we have EDTA also.
Warfarin, diclofenac.
Yeah, warfarin is there, EDTA is there. Only list because it is 3 marker. Oxalate compounds, citrates. Okay, it comes as a 5 marks question also. Then I will discuss much in detail. Okay, for now you just try to know the names. Okay, beta. So we will stop here then.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, bye. Beta.